Benjamin Franklin's life lessons you should to learn. Never take a wife till thou hast a house and a fire to put her in. I look upon death to be as necessary to our constitution as sleep. We shall rise refreshed in the morning. I should have no objection to go over the same life from its beginning to the end, requesting only the advantage authors have of correcting in a second edition the faults of the first. We must, indeed, all hang together, or, most assuredly, we shall all hang separately. Guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. My elder brothers were all put apprentices to different trades. I was put to the grammar school at 8 years of age, my father intending to devote me, as the tithe of his sons, to the service of the church. Life's tragedy is that we get old too soon and wise too late. Content makes poor men rich. Discontent makes rich men poor. Human felicity is produced not as much by great pieces of good fortune that seldom happen as by little advantages that occur every day. He that would live in peace and at ease must not speak all he knows or all he sees. There are 2 ways of being happy. We must either diminish our wants or augment our means, either may do. The result is the same, and it is for each man to decide for himself and to do that which happens to be easier. Remember not only to say the right thing in the right place, but far more difficult still, to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. All mankind is divided into 3 classes: those that are immovable, those that are movable, and those that move. At 20 years of age the will reigns, at 30, the wit, and at 40, the judgment. The Constitution only gives people the right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it yourself. Employ thy time well, if thou meanest to gain leisure. It is a grand mistake to think of being great without goodness, and I pronounce it as certain that there was never a truly great man that was not at the same time truly virtuous. As we enjoy great advantages from the inventions of others, we should be glad of an opportunity to serve others by any invention of ours, and this we should do freely and generously. It is the working man who is the happy man. It is the idle man who is the miserable man. How few there are who have courage enough to own their faults, or resolution enough to mend them. So convenient a thing it is to be a reasonable creature, since it enables one to find or make a reason for everything one has a mind to do. Trouble springs from idleness, and grievous toil from needless ease. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. I wake up every morning at 9 and grab for the morning paper. Then I look at the obituary page. If my name is not on it, I get up. There never was a truly great man that was not at the same time truly virtuous. Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. There is no kind of dishonesty into which otherwise good people more easily and frequently fall than that of defrauding the government. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. I have never entered into any controversy in defense of my philosophical opinions. I leave them to take their chance in the world. If they are right, truth and experience will support them. If wrong, they ought to be refuted and rejected. Disputes are apt to sour one's temper and disturb one's quiet. Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. I saw few die of hunger, of eating, 100,000. If time be of all things the most precious, wasting time must be the greatest prodigality. There cannot be a stronger natural right than that of a man's making the best profit he can of the natural produce of his lands. I am for doing good to the poor, but I differ in opinion about the means. I think the best way of doing good to the poor is not making them easy in poverty, but leading or driving them out of it. Work as if you were to live 100 years. Pray as if you were to die tomorrow. He that composes himself is wiser than he that composes a book. Those disputing, contradicting, and confuting people are generally unfortunate in their affairs. They get victory, sometimes, but they never get goodwill, which would be of more use to them. It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation, and only one bad one to lose it. Where sense is wanting, everything is wanting. Gain may be temporary and uncertain, but ever while you live, expense is constant and certain. and it is easier to build 2 chimneys than to keep one in fuel. He that has done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another, than he whom you yourself have obliged. In the affairs of this world, men are saved not by faith, but by the want of it. Savages we call them because their manners differ from ours. In my youth, I traveled much, and I observed in different countries, that the more public provisions were made for the poor, the less they provided for themselves, and of course became poorer. And, on the contrary, the less was done for them, the more they did for themselves, and became richer. Many foxes grow gray, but few grow good. Whatever is begun in anger ends in industry need not wish. All who think cannot but see there is a sanction like that of religion which binds us in partnership in the serious work of the world. Where there is a free government, and the people make their own laws by their representatives, I see no injustice in their obliging one another to take their own paper money. Since thou art not sure of a minute, throw not away an hour. Danger is sauce for prayers. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Never leave that till tomorrow which you can do today. Money has never made man happy, nor will it. There is nothing in its nature to produce happiness. The more of it one has, the more one wants. Diligence is the mother of good luck. Experience keeps a dear school, but fools will learn in no other. He who falls in love with himself will have no rivals. In this world nothing can be said to be certain, except death and taxes. He that speaks much, is much mistaken. Tricks and treachery are the practice of fools, that don't have brains enough to be honest. Wise men don't need advice. Fools won't take it. Hear reason, or she'll make you feel her. A man wrapped up in himself makes a very small bundle. There are 3 things extremely hard: steel, a diamond, and to know oneself. 1 today is worth 2 tomorrows. Take time for all things. Great haste makes great waste. Never confuse motion with action. If you would be loved, love, and be lovable. He that lives upon hope will die fasting. Words may show a man's wit, but actions his meaning. Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody. A life of leisure and a life of laziness are 2 things. There will be sleeping enough in the grave. Genius without education is like silver in the mine. Having been poor is no shame, but being ashamed of it is. Where liberty is, there is my country. If a man could have half of his wishes, he would double his troubles. When men and women die, as poets sung, his heart's the last part moves, her last, the tongue. The absent are never without fault, nor the present without excuse. The art of acting consists in keeping people from coughing. Where there's marriage without love, there will be love without marriage. The first mistake in public business is the going into it. And whether you're an honest man, or whether you're a thief, depends on whose solicitor has given me my brief. Blessed is he that expects nothing, for he shall never be disappointed. From a child I was fond of reading, and all the little money that came into my hands was ever laid out in books. Pleased with the Pilgrim's Progress, my first collection was of John Bunyan's works in separate little volumes. The eye of the master will do more work than both his hands. Tomorrow, every fault is to be amended, but that tomorrow never comes. Each year one vicious habit discarded, in time might make the worst of us good. Games lubricate the body and the mind. When will mankind be convinced and agree to settle their difficulties by arbitration? In general, mankind, since the improvement of cookery, eats twice as much as nature requires. Those who govern, having much business on their hands, do not generally like to take the trouble of considering and carrying into execution new projects. The best public measures are therefore seldom adopted from previous wisdom, but forced by the occasion. Thanks for watching video. Please like, share and subscribe to watch for more.